I'm driving through my city, the city that I grew up in, the city that is absolutely, completely unrecognizable. Just with a lot of disdain and a lot of disgust right now. I used to be pleasing. I used to be pleasant and pleasing. And it's funny. It's funny how there is the marketing, what's the word? What are they called? Influencer? Vision or display of what awakening looks like. And I was caught up in it. Like, I was in it, thinking that, you know, you like wake up like fucking Sleeping Beauty from this dream and everything is magical and beautiful. It's funny. It's funny. Because maybe it's all different. I mean, I guess it's different. I cannot compare my journey and what I see and the vantage that I have from anybody else's. But I can tell you what I see is a lot of bypassing bullshit, reeking of privilege, colonialism, and capitalism, all wrapped up into one shiny bow that's just the same old shit repackaged in a different way. I am no longer pleasant and pleasing. And it's funny because it's like my rebel, the inner rebel that's inside of me, is it doesn't necessarily want to fight anything, because that's just pulling the same energy out. But I think that there is a sense of observation and calling it as it is. And just being fucking honest, right? Like, I'm not trying to sell shit. I may ultimately end up providing something that I felt like would have been beneficial to me along the way. But at this point, I'm just trying to survive in this really fucked up world. But I had a point, an original thought before I hit record, and it is this. I was listening to this speech from a Hopi elder. I think it was recorded like in 1986, and it was talking about kind of like the times that we are in and the changing of times. And I've just been sitting and contemplating on a very specific thought, and I've circled back to this theme amongst my my inner circle a number of times in conversation, and I'm just going to speak it out loud. I joke a lot, kind of half joke, half not, about apocalypse and Armageddon, and you know, they've got the whole biblical rapture and all that stuff that comes with it. And the reality is like, I mean, yeah, there is change. We are in the midst of change. But one of the things that kind of struck in this talk was talking about the purification, like how Earth is I think at that point he was talking about what is to come, but I believe we are in it right now. And if you pay attention to a little Herbie coming up around me, if you pay attention to anything, you'll see it to be. They call it, he referenced it as Earth is going through a purification. Which, if you think about it, if you think what happens when the air is super stagnant, a rain comes through that's purifying, right? Like, it's rebirth, renewal, but with that, obviously, things fall, things crumble. White man, colonial capitalist, patriarchy, bullshittery that we are living in, that has been ruling and in control for so long, calls it apocalypse or Armageddon, the end of times, which again is true, right? Like, it is the end of times for that time, for that way of being, for that era of living. How long it takes, who knows, but there is no doubt that we are in the middle of it. But what a powerful reframe that makes of, oh, this is the end versus this is the beginning. As I'm going through, I can't help. As within, so without. What happens in the micro happens in the macro. With my own internal being, I can really pinpoint every single thing that has happened internally within me into the macro, into the outside world. So, kind of taking what has happened within me into that frame, it makes absolute sense, right? Like, what was rebirth also was death. It was death. It was a complete annihilation of an entire way of being, thinking, feeling, existing, showing up in this world, perceiving. I mean, I say it, my mom, oftentimes she goes, who are you? And I was like, well, I'm a different person. That person that you know, she's dead. She's gone, long gone. She's died a few times, actually. And the person that's in place right now is, well, that's a whole topic. But, so instead of like, so there's, with death, there's also birth. It's the rebirth of sorts. And both processes are kind of brutal, right? But they're also beautiful. Both, death, birth. And we being in the midst of both, it's an interesting place to exist in, and I am not sure how to show up in that, in the middle of it, except to show up as I am along the way and do what I need to do to survive going through those cycles. And I know that if I have done it within myself, I can navigate it as it happens on the external. And then the question that I have is, how can we kind of be there for each other as we go through that? Because another thing that I've learned is doing it alone is not part of it. So anyway, yeah, those are my Friday morning thoughts as I drive on this cold, windy, blistery day through this city that I no longer recognize. Yeah, have a good day.